New update, new update, new update. This is a new update, and please don't skip this video. Are you looking forward to becoming a chef in Germany? And then this video is for you, So today's topic will be discussing what it takes to be a chef in Germany. A lot of people have asked me, through DMs, what it takes to be a chef in Germany in the hospitality industry and all of that. I've also gotten some questions from people who are also from other international countries asking me what it takes actually to work as a chef in Germany. So this is all we are going to be discussing today in two different versions. So the first version, we're going to be talking about what it takes to be a chef in Germany, within Germany. If you live in Germany and maybe you are a foreigner, you might be a foreigner, you might be a German, you might be a European person, or be an international person, and you have passion to become a chef in Germany, to work as a chef in Germany, then this video is for you. You need to pay close attention to what I'm going to be saying in this video. So myself, I'm a chef. I'm a trained chef, in Germany. I work as a chef in Germany with some years of experience. So this is my feed. So whatever I'm telling you now is something I know much about. So that being said, let's continue. So if you want to be a chef in Germany and you live in Germany already, so what you need to do is to, you can get companies online, because year to year, depending on the Bundesland means federal states, like when you have states under a country, we have Berlin, we have Hamburg, we have North Westphalia, we have Bayern, and so on and so forth, just like in your country as well. So we have all these states in Germany. So, but there are rules guiding them, as regards how it's done when you want to, go for a vocational school and all of that. So if you want to be a chef in Germany, you already live in Germany, what you need to do is just for you to, check online. It's either you check online, or maybe you have a company, a culinary company that or in the hospitality industry that, can give you apprenticeship. We call it Ausbildung in Germany. So that Ausbildung means apprenticeship in English. So you need to write maybe via email. You can check online, like year to year, every year. Some Bundesland, they start the Ausbildung school session, which is the school session for the new trainings every year. In Bayern, for instance, they start in September. Then in North Westphalia, I believe they start in August, and so on and so forth. So so if you want to be, you have to maybe few months before the official training starts in the country, depending on the states, federal state where you live, you have to look for a company where you have to apply to. You apply to the company maybe by yourself or via help from maybe any other person that you think they can help you if you cannot help yourself to do it. But basically, I believe it's something a lot of people can do. You go online, you search for where you can do apprenticeship, you see some couple of companies, then you write to them. As you write to them, then they will respond to you that, okay, you just write to them, you want to do Ausbildung with them, as it's called in Germany, apprenticeship, which is a vocational school. So you want to do it with them. They will now respond if they have space for you, because they might have taken some other persons, maybe they have limited space. They will now tell you, okay, we have a space for you. You come over for an appointment, you meet the chef of the boss of the place, as the case may be, maybe hotel or restaurant or wherever. You meet them, you sit down and discuss terms and conditions and everything. Then if they approve for you to do the training under their hospitality industry, either hotel or restaurant or wherever, so if they agree, they will now sign you auto a school. They will look for a school where they will now register you as a student, because the Ausbildung in Germany it consists of dual training system. The way we call it dual Ausbildung system in Germany. You understand? So you have to go to the vocational school. You go there for theory. Then the second one, you go to where you are registered or where you are employed as an apprentice. Then you now go there for practice. the practical aspect of it, which is called the dual Ausbildung system in Germany. You understand? So two-way vocational school system, the way you can understand it in English. So it means you'll be going to school some days of the week. You'll be going to school to do the theory aspect of it. Then some days of the week as well. Maybe it can be 2 days in the first year. It can be 2 days you go to school, or 3 days to school. Then you can go the other days of the week. You go to practical your place where you learn practically, like the hotel that has employed you or registered you, or the either the hotel or the restaurant, as the case may be. So it's called dual Ausbildung system in Germany. So that's how you follow it up. You start from the first year, you go to school, you'll be switching between schools and work practically. So even in the school, you are still doing some practicals in the school. You cook in the school, you write exams, you do all of that and all of that. So in between, there are exams you'll be writing, some mock exams and all of that. While there are other main exams you write. So there's an exam they call tuition proof you are going to write in the first half year, because the hospital takes 3 years. The standard training system takes 3 years as a chef, to be a chef in Germany. There is the one we call chef, the standard chef, which is the Koch. Then there's the one we call the assistant Koch, which is the Koch. So if you want to do assistant Koch, you have to learn do the training, the vocational training for 2 years. But if you want to do the standard Koch, the recognized standard Koch, that one, you have to do it for complete 3 years. You understand? So there's also the one we call Meister Chef, Meister Koch, so which is the Chef Meister, as it's called in English. So that means after you have finished the basic hospital system for 3 years, you will now work for at least 1 year. Then you will now go to a special school where you will now go and learn for another 2 years to be a Meister chef. You understand? So that's the way it is. So in Germany, there are rules and regulations and all of that. So after you finish your 3 years training, in the first 1.5 years, you are going to do an exam. You understand? The one we call tuition proof. So you do that one, you pass it, and the marks will be recorded accordingly and in advance for your final exams in 3 years' time. So if you have written that one contains the theory aspect, where you are going to be writing everything you have been learning for the past 1.5 years. Then after that one, they will not schedule a date again for the general practical aspect. You go to a special government recognized kitchen where you people will sit for the exam, for the practical. Even the practical itself still has some theories in it. You have to fair right. For instance, you want to cook a special sauce. You want to cook a special sauce, you have to outline in the practical settings. You have to outline before the practical exam starts. They'll give you a piece of paper where you have to outline out the way you are going to prepare the food and everything, the step-by-step process you are going to use to prepare the food. You outline them out. Then before I think they'll give some, maybe I think it's about 30 minutes to write that, or 25. I don't actually remember how long it's about. I think it's at least about 30 minutes or 45 minutes for you to outline what you will be preparing in the exam. Then after the preparation, after the writing, the preparation, you will now move on to the kitchen where you will now cook the actual food. You understand? So after cooking the actual food, before even cooking the actual food, some people will still sit you down to ask you some questions and all of that. You have invigilators, who are Meister Koch and all of that, Meister Chef as it's called. So they will be asking you some questions in between before you now move on to the practical aspect of the exam. So the exam is usually divided into 3. First one, you write. Then the second one, you go for questions and answers. They ask you questions about how to attend to guests, how to attend to people, in your hospitality industry, depending on where it's about, either a restaurant or a hotel, how to attend to customers and all of that. Then after that, they will record everything. You will now move on to the cooking aspect. The cooking aspect, the vigilators will still be watching you around. They'll move around as you are cooking. What you have aligned in the theory aspect of the practical, you will not practicalize in the cooking. Then you cook everything you have outlined. Then they will tell you, the vigilators will be watching you. There might be many, there might be 5, there might be 10, depending on how big the kitchen is. They'll be watching you. As you're watching, you're preparing. You concentrate on what you are doing. They are watching your precision. They are watching your speed at which you are using to, to prepare the food and everything. Because there's a time frame for you to prepare the food. I think it's up to about an hour plus or close to 2 hours to prepare the entire menu. It's usually, I think, a 3-way menu, where you have to prepare the one they call Vorspeise, then you prepare the Abgang, then you prepare the Nachspeise. Vorspeise mean appetizer, the one you eat before. It might be cold, it might be hot, it might be soup, it might be a soup, it might be vegetable, salad. So you prepare that one. After that one, you move on to the Abgang. The Abgang is the main food, the main meal you have to serve your guests. Then you prepare the main meal according to what you have outlined. Then after that one, you move on to the dessert. Dessert is anything sweet that you have to serve your guests after you have prepared, as you have given them the main meal. So dessert is anything usually sweet that people eat after their main meal. So this is a 3-way menu you have to prepare for your guests. So as you are preparing it, they are watching you, they are moving around, the invigilators. Then after the exam have lasted for the time it was planned, they will now stop everybody. Then they will take you will now go and submit the food to the invigilators. Then they will now test it. You take it to their settings where they are sitting. They will not test it. Then as they are testing it, once they test it, there might be 3, 4, 5, 6. They will sit down. You serve them the food. They will test. After they have tested it, they will now record whatever they need to record for you based on how sweet or how presentable the food was, or how nice you have outlined the food, how nice you served the food, how beautiful you have served the food. So these are points they will give you, but you will never see those points. They will record on their own. Then they will send it to the central system that is responsible for giving you the final result after the exam. So that's the way it's done. Then after that one, you begin to wait for your, for your result and all of that. There's a way you can check, maybe after a couple of weeks, there's a system online you can go, you check with your details. If your results are out, then you will not check there to see if you have passed or not. But on that same practical day, the invigilators will also tell you if you have passed or not. After they have marked everything, they will sit you guys in a separate hall. Then they will now tell you who has passed and who has failed. They will tell you instantly. As I have told you, they will write a piece of note for you to go and give your Ausbildung Betrieb. Your Ausbildung Betrieb means the company that is sponsoring you, that is training you practically to go through the educational system as a chef. They will give you a note telling them you have either failed the final practical exam or you have passed the final practical exam. So some people fail the theory aspect of the exam, while some fail the practical aspect of the exams, because the exam is usually of 2 settings. You have the theory where you have to write theoretically, you write different things. They'll be asking questions. You have different subjects, just like in your country. You have different subjects. They'll be asking you questions about. You have also the one you do mathematics. You have, I think it's about 3 different main subjects they will combine. There's the one they'll be asking you political questions about Germany, economical questions and all of that. So you answer those questions theoretically, you submit. There's a part you do mathematics. There's a part they'll ask you about kitchen settings, how to maintain kitchen, how to keep kitchen in order, how to take order, and so different kind of questions like that in 3 different courses they will ask you. Then you write those exams, you submit. Some people might pass that theory and fail the practical, while some people might fail the practical and pass the theory. So while some people might pass the both. So it depends on how good you were, either in the practical or the theory. The result will still come out. No cheating. They will give it to you the way it was. If you pass the theory and you fail the practical, which means you are going to repeat the practical. If you pass the practical and you fail the theory, which means you are going to repeat the theory. So by law in Germany, you have three times to repeat it within 6 months. For instance, you failed in this year, they will not give you an extension of 6 months, which means in 6 months' time, you repeat that exam. You'll be in the school settings. You'll be in your training company, which is the Ausbildung Betrieb, as it's called in Germany. You'll be there for another 6 months for you to be able to pass the exam. So they organize another exam for you in 6 months for you to be able to pass, because the exam is usually a national exam. They write all over the country, and it's recognized all over, even all over Europe. is the result, the certificate you'll be given in Germany is recognized. You can even use it to work anywhere in the world. So that is it. It's very powerful certificate you get as a chef in Germany. So you might fail the both, you might pass the both. You might fail one, you might pass one. So depending on how good you were, you will now repeat the one you have failed, and that's how it's done in Germany. So after you have passed everything, maybe you have passed all your exams, practical, theoretically, you will now go forward to look for a job as a chef. The company that trained you might also want to, maybe how good you were in the company, they might also want to sign you on to employ you further to be a chef in their system, in their hospitality system, either the hotel or the restaurant, as the case may be. Why some will now tell you, okay, they don't have space for you, or they're not ready to employ you now, you will have to go to another, look for a job by yourself. So you go on to look for a job as a chef, and you continue your life as a chef. So if you are interested in the future to be a Meister Koch, which is the chef Meister, as it's called in Germany, you work for 1 year as a chef after your hospital training, then you will now go further to go to a special school, Meisterschule. We call it Meisterschule in Germany. You understand? Then you go to that Meisterschule for another 2 years, write another exam before you will now be a Meister Koch. Meister Koch means that you can now either, you can have your own restaurant. Anybody can have their own restaurant, even if you are a normal chef. You understand? You can have your own restaurant, but it means you now have more educational power. You can also, train people as or azubi, which is the people that are going through the training. You can also open your, hospitality industry, either hotel, restaurant, or whatever, and train people if you want as a Meister Koch. Why your salary will also be increased. You understand? If you work for an hospitality industry, that hotel or restaurant, if you are a Meister Koch, it means you have achieved a greater level of certificate in the industry. So your salary will be far more different than a basic cook who has learned for 3 years. You understand? If you are the chef who has learned for 2 years, which is the one we call the Beicock, your salary will be lower than a standard chef who has learned for 3 years. If you are the one that has learned as a Meister Koch, which means you have trained all together for 5-6 years. You understand? So if you are that one, your salary will now be higher than who has been a standard cook who trained for 3 years. So depend how higher you go in the educational system in the industry, that's how your salary will be, and that's how your respect in the industry will also be increased. So that is how it is. Even the second aspect of the exam, because like I said, we have two aspects of the exams. We have the one you write in between, which is the one they call Zwischenprüfung, the one you write 1.5 years later into the Ausbildung system, where you also have the second type of the exam, the one you write on the 3rd year, towards the ending of the 3rd year, since you started the Ausbildung. That is the final exam. So if you pass that one, if you pass that final exam, which includes the same process like the Zwischenprüfung, you pass the practical, a theory first, you pass the practicum as well, you will be giving your certificate as a confirmed chef in Germany, and you can work all around the world. You'll be respected and regarded as a chef. That is how it is. So I know you eagerly want to know how much the trainings, the Azubis earn in Germany. The training in Germany, it differs from federal state to federal state. So every federal state has the minimum pay they pay per Ausbildung year for the trainings. For instance, in North Westphalia, what they pay for the first year is different from what they pay in Berlin or in Bayern, so on and so forth. That's the way it's regulated. Every federal state has the minimum wage they pay Azubis, which are the trainings in Germany. So these are the factors that affect it. But on an average, the first year you are supposed to earn between at least between 700 to 1,000 euro, depending on the federal state where you are training, or where you are being trained as a chef. Then on the second year, it changes again. Every year the pay differs. On the second year, it changes to at least maybe between 800 to 1,150 thereabout. So that also depends on the federal state where you work, and also it also depends on the the facility, the hospitality industry, or the hotel, either the hotel or the restaurant where you work, how the settings are. So there are some that pay some kind of premium to their, to their staff and all of that, which is also be in addition to your benefit and all of that. So these are the factors that affect it. Then on the third year, which is the last year, that's when you earn the highest as a trainee, as a cook. You earn between 900 and 1,300. At least you're supposed to earn at least between 900 and 1,300 there. But that also depends on the federal state where you are being trained or where you are doing your vocational studies, as a chef in Germany. So these are the factors that affect your pay. Every year is regulated, and another factor is that it depends on the federal state where you are doing your vocational training. That is what affects the pay. So first year is different from second year, that's the lowest. Second year is different from the third year, that's the second highest. Then the third year is different from the second year. So the last year is always the highest, which is the third year. So then after you finish your training as a chef, then your pay will also rise again, and that also depends on the the minimum wage in federal state in Germany pay, because minimum wage in federal state can also differ based on the the hospitality industry or what you agree with your boss who is employing you. So I cannot actually tell you how much you are going to earn as a chef in Germany. In Germany, for instance, if you work in a hotel, the regulation might be different, but there is a basic minimum wage which you are supposed to earn as a chef. You understand? So you're supposed to earn that as a chef. But it also differs from federal state to federal state. You understand? Some federal state, they pay more than the other federal state for the minimum wage. And another factor that also affected, like I said, it depends on the hospitality industry or the settings where you are working. The boss might see that you have more skills and they might decide to pay you more and all of that. Germany basically we earn per hour. But I cannot tell you this is how much exactly you are going to be earning. So that is it. So, but please know that if you are coming from a foreign country, that is not, you are not based in Germany, and you are coming from maybe any other part of the world that's a foreign country, nowhere that you have to, focus on the language, because even in the school, like I said, everything is being taught in German. The exam you are going to write is being written in German. So there is nothing like I'm writing it in my language. So vocational studies in Germany, they are usually done in German. You understand? It's not like the university where you have some courses that is being taught in English and all of that, or in your language. But here, I believe all the vocational studies you have to do, which is the training. In Nigeria, where I come from, we call it handwork. You understand? So I believe that is how it is all over. So you have to focus on the language. If you are coming from abroad, just know that the language might be a barrier for you. So focus on the language, because that's what you will need to write the exam and pass it. Then for people who are asking about international people from international countries who live outside of Germany or outside of the EU, who want to come and work as a chef in Germany. For instance, you were trained as a chef in your country of origin, and you want to come to Germany to work as a chef. Let's say you were in Africa, you were in any other country, an international country that's not in Europe. You want to come, because in Europe they use almost the same template as chef. So if you are trained as chef in Italy, you can easily work as a chef in Germany. If you are trained as a chef in Holland or in Switzerland or in France, you can easily work as a chef in Germany, because they use the same culinary template. So that is all. It's only little difference. So you can easily catch up. But if you were trained as a chef in Africa or any other international country, it's a different ball game entirely. So first of all, if you want to work here as a chef and you are in an international country, you will first of all look online and see the company that is willing to give you visa to come and work for them as a chef. So once the company is willing to give you a visa, they have written that they are willing to give you a job. That is what you will now use to apply for your visa as a chef. You understand? You want to come and work as a chef. You don't use that letter of employment they have given you. Use it to apply. Then you must also, know the basic German. Because in Germany, like 80-90% of people who live in Germany, they communicate in German. So it will be quite difficult for you not to have, language skills, to enable you work easily as a chef in Germany, because any settings you will work, either hotel or restaurants, an international person, you have to speak the German language to customers. So it is very, very challenging for you to come here and be working as a chef and you don't speak German. So you do yourself well to learn the basic German in your country. It might not be, I think it's not compulsory in a culinary system to have basic German knowledge, but it's recommended for you to have basic German knowledge, maybe up to the level of A2 or B1, that you can also present to the embassy in your German embassy in your country, among other requirements, that okay, see, you have German knowledge and all of that. So it will also help to facilitate your visa, processing and all of that. So aside that, you will also need some other, letter of recommendation and all of that from your own country where you have worked before. And another requirement is that you must have worked for 2 years as a chef in a setting that is recognized, maybe internationally. You understand? In a culinary setting or in an hospitality industry or setting that is recognized internationally, where you were trained and all of that. It must be a setting that is recognized. If you went through the training for 2 or 3 years in your home country, you must have gone through that training system in an educational system that is recognized in the European, framework on education and all of that. So that is basically what you will need to come and work as an international person to work in Germany as a chef. So you gather those requirements, then you present it to the embassy, coupled with the the invitation and the employment letter. The person employing you in Germany must also provide, I think, accommodation, outline what your basic salary will be, with tax and after tax, which you call in Germany brutto and netto, Gehalt and all of that. And all of this you combine together with your experience in your home country working as a chef, your recommendations, letters and everything, you combine it together, use them to apply for the visa. So hopefully you'll be granted visa if you go through the process where then you can come and work in Germany as a chef. So you don't actually need anybody to get to apply for visa for you and all of that. Once you are learning enough, no matter the country you are, you understand English or whatever, you can go on Google and search for those companies in Germany that are looking for international chefs that they want to work with them, because Germany has a lot of shortage of workers. That is the reality. In Germany, in the hospitality industry, they have shortage of workers, so they need chefs a lot in Germany. They value chefs a lot in Germany. You understand? So once you are a chef and you're ready to deliver in your settings, they will easily give you employment in Germany. So employment is easy in Germany if you're a professional. It's very, very easy. So if you have more questions regarding the hospitality industry, on how to be a chef, maybe an aspect of this topic that I did not cover in this video, you can actually reach out to me via DM, email, or whatever. Then ask me questions, and I will be very, very glad to respond to you. I wish you good luck as you're on a journey to be a chef in Germany. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my page and channel if you enjoy this video. You need to subscribe and share it also to your timeline, so that people who are in need of such informations will easily see them via your timeline. I regularly share all informations like this on a daily. What menu, recipe, culinary industry in Germany, how it works and all of that. So if you are the type that love the hospitality industry and you enjoy this video up to this point, please do me well to like, share, follow, and subscribe to my page and channel. God bless you. I remain the Smart Chef. See you on my next video. Bye.